What if a small group of colonies challenged the most powerful empire on Earth and won? The American Revolution was a historic war between Britain and its 13 colonies in North America. In the 1700s, the colonies were controlled by the powerful British Empire. After the 7 Years' War, Britain placed heavy taxes on the colonies. Colonists protested with the famous Boston Tea Party, dumping British tea into the harbor. In 1775, fighting broke out at battles of Lexington and Concord. Colonial leaders believed people should govern themselves. In 1776, Thomas Jefferson helped write the United States Declaration of Independence. The colonial army was led by George Washington. The war's turning point came at the Battle of Saratoga, where the British suffered a major defeat. In 1781, the British Army surrendered at the Siege of Yorktown. 2 years later, Britain officially recognized the independence of the United States. The American Revolution changed the world forever, inspiring new ideas of freedom and democracy. What if a group of small colonies dared to challenge the most powerful empire in the world? For centuries, the British Empire ruled vast lands across the globe. But in the 18th century, something unexpected happened in North America. A revolution was about to begin. In the early 1700s, Britain controlled 13 colonies along the eastern coast of North America. These colonies were prosperous and growing quickly, but they were still under British rule. After the expensive 7 Years' War, Britain faced huge financial problems. To recover the money, the British government decided to tax the American colonies. This decision would change history. Colonists were furious. They believed Britain had no right to tax them because they had no representation in the British Parliament. Their slogan became famous: "No taxation without representation." In 1773, protests reached a dramatic moment. Angry colonists organized the Boston Tea Party. Disguised as Native Americans, they boarded British ships and threw hundreds of tea chests into Boston Harbor. The British government responded harshly. They passed strict laws to punish the colonies. These laws became known as the Intolerable Acts. Instead of calming the situation, they made the colonies even more united. In April 1775, the first shots of the revolution were fired at the battles of Lexington and Concord. British soldiers marched to seize colonial weapons, but colonial militias fought back. The American Revolution had begun. Soon, colonial leaders formed the United Army. The army was led by George Washington. Washington faced enormous challenges. His soldiers lacked training, weapons, and supplies. In 1776, colonial leaders made a bold decision. They officially declared independence from Britain. The document was written mainly by Thomas Jefferson. It became known as the United States Declaration of Independence. The war that followed was long and difficult. British forces were powerful and well-trained, but the colonial army refused to give up. They fought with determination for their freedom. In 1777, a major turning point occurred. American forces defeated the British at the Battle of Saratoga. This victory convinced France to support the American cause. France sent soldiers, weapons, and ships. With this support, the balance of the war began to change. Britain was no longer fighting alone. By 1781, British forces were losing control. American and French troops surrounded the British army at Yorktown. The final battle, known as the Siege of Yorktown, ended with a British surrender. It was the decisive moment of the Revolution. In 1783, the war officially ended with the Treaty of Paris. Britain recognized the independence of the United States. A new nation had been born. The American Revolution inspired other revolutions around the world. It proved that people could challenge powerful empires, and sometimes they could win. The American Revolution was more than just a war. It was a fight for freedom, independence, and a new vision of government. A revolution that changed the course of world history forever.